So who's seen lightning talks before? Just a handful? Okay, so they're 5-minute talks. We have 2 styles. The first is called Ignite style. It's auto-advancing slides. So you'll always hear the end of the talk. You might miss the middle, but you'll always hear the end of the talk. The second style is a classic style. So that's just a traditional, the speakers in control of the slides. When the stop sign comes up, that means it's the last slide that person's supposed to speak on. When it goes away, they have to sit down and move on to the next person. We have 48 minutes, 49 minutes of content in a 50-minute session, so there's no dilly-dallying. And as soon as that goes, then I have to sit down, so I'm going to hand the mic over.
So I'm the first.
You're the first.
Oh, okay. No, I'm waiting. So, hi, my name is Mario, and I'm from a company called Pernexas, and I'm just waiting for the next slide. So. Then it should be started. Yeah, and first I try to give you a guess where we are located. Yeah, it's in Germany, exactly in Germany. But besides hanging up at the Oktoberfest, we also do some serious stuff in our company. So that means we have 3 divisions. So the first one is product lifecycle management, sub-content management. In each of them, we have more than 15 years of experience. And since last year, we have a new division. It's an Alfresco integration. So maybe if you join SAP in your company, you may ask yourself, or you're looking for a suitable content repository behind, because you don't have one yet, or you need to replace the existing one, for example, FileNet. Then you may ask yourself already, why can't we connect to Alfresco? Is it possible to connect Alfresco at all? What are the requirements? Are there any existing solutions for that? But I can set your mind at rest. So there was missing a slide. Yeah, our solution for that is Pernexas. It's called Pernexas. It's our product, which is a flexible, stable, reliable, and robust system. So I'm missing some slide there. Yeah, it means our solution is the only certified product on market that is certified from Alfresco from SAP for Alfresco. I'm sorry, why it is so fast, so that are not 15 seconds. So in general, how does it work? So meaning in context of SAP, so storing documents from SAP in Alfresco, all requests are handled via the HTTP content protocol, the so-called archive link protocol in SAP. And this archive link protocol is fully integrated in SAP and allows you to manage nearly all document-related actions that can be done on a remote repository. The other way around, so from Alfresco to SAP, we use the SAP Java connector to link documents from Alfresco to SAP. And it can be triggered by jobs or by behaviors from Alfresco side. Yeah. So very powerful. So that means one of the frequently asked questions to us is also, what else do we need to connect SAP with Alfresco? So that's the answer. You need only SAP. You need Alfresco, of course, our product called Pernexas. No additional hardware, no additional software, just plug and play. So for all non-technical guys, a few scenarios that can be covered via the archive link protocol, so meaning SAP to Alfresco, yes, you can manage incoming documents, you can barcode, you can manage sub-workflows. And as we are integrated into the sub-NetWeaver, that is really deep integrated in SAP, we are everywhere in SAP available. And by the way, that's also a certified part of our product. Yeah. Now it takes longer than expected. There's the other way around, some scenarios that covers the direction from Alfresco to SAP. So we can replicate already a lot of metadata by default. We can link documents between SAP and Alfresco, and we can start SAP workflows. And what happens with the replicated data, they just appear as properties on different aspects on the document on Alfresco side. So no more, no less. If you want to replicate more than the default metadata, we can also do it in a project. So in scope of a project, then we can replicate customer-related metadata, or we can replicate structured metadata from Alfresco. That you prove that there are already a lot of customers joining Alfresco with SAP successfully, yes, worldwide. Okay, in America, it's only one currently, but that's why we are here. So we have covered all industries. With all industries, a lot of customers with different focus on the integration. So we have customers that store more than 30,000 documents per day. We have customers that only start sub workflows from Alfresco. And finally, I was instructed from my boss to explain this. We did already a lot of migration projects from Fliegner to Alfresco, and we always love work together with partners. So any more questions or live demos, we are available on our booth in the lobby on the upper floor. So that's it. Thank you.
My name is Greg Heller. I am a consulting manager and senior application architect with MicroStrategies. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Martin Luther King Digital Archive project and how we were able to make history come to life using Alfresco in the cloud. So the first part of my presentation is a small 60-second clip of a video that was put together. This was the launch video that was used for the archive project. It was in conjunction with the Martin Luther King Monument exposition in Washington, D.C. This project was funded by JP Morgan Chase. It was part of their Technology for Social Good program. So once the video comes up.
I accept this award today with an abiding faith in America and an audacious faith in the future of mankind. I refuse to accept despair as the final response to the ambiguities of history.
Imagine if anyone, anywhere in the world, could hear this speech, see these documents. The King Center Imaging Project and website redesign is making that possible. The King Center has over 1 million documents that chronicle the modern civil rights movement. Founder Coretta Scott King was deeply concerned about protecting and continuing the legacy of the civil rights movement.
Mother's definitely smiling as we're going through this process of digitizing all of these documents.
So, nice little video. So, the project start, the official project kickoff was June 2011. That's the date when we first went down to the King Center to take a look at their archives. The project launch date was Martin Luther King Day, holiday of January 16th, 2012. So why is this historic? Well, this is the first time the King Center archives have been made available to the public. We are able to preserve one of the most historical civil rights movement in American history through technology. We also give you the ability to provide an insight into the various aspects of Dr. King's life. So these are pictures of the King Center archive room. This is what we were faced when we went down there for the first time. Documents upon documents just stored in boxes and folders scattered throughout the archive room. So the goal of the project was to protect and preserve documents. We wanted to digitalize the modern civil rights movement and make this information available to everyone. We wanted to store documents securely in the cloud and share the dream worldwide. So why do we pick a cloud-based solution? So the King Center didn't want to have the ability to maintain an on-premise data center. They didn't want the need to hire staff and maintain servers, network, and infrastructure. We needed unlimited storage, we needed ease of scaling, and we needed it to be secure. So we chose Alfresco for its modern open architecture. It's flexible and scalable, it's highly configurable, and it's non-proprietary. We also needed the ability to have associations to other documents. We needed to utilize the Alfresco's content transformation framework. We utilized rules and behaviors, and we needed to easily integrate with other systems such as Drupal using CMIS. So we chose Amazon AWS for the cloud technology. Our infrastructure is running on EC2. We have Alfresco set up in a cluster. We have 2-node cluster. We used Active Directory for authentication. We have an OCR server running in the cloud, and we had multiple virtual private clouds. The cloud storage platform that was chosen was EMC Atmos. It's cloud-enabled storage. We built a custom Alfresco Atmos connector similar to what you use if you're using S3 storage for Alfresco. The image and processing process, a workflow was built to track all the boxes and folders and images throughout the imaging process. All the documents were imaged at the King Center in a state-of-the-art lab. All images were single-page TIFFs resulting in about a 60-megabit file. The scanned images were ingested into Alfresco. We wrote a custom application to do that. There was initial taxonomy built using the box and folder barcodes. We needed to maintain a relationship between the documents and pages using separator sheets. And here's just an example of a few separator sheets we used. The first one, for example, was a restricted page telling the system that this page couldn't be made available for web preview display to the public-facing website. This is a content indexing profiler that we built. The users had the metadata on the left, the image on the right. It enabled them to process through various different queues based on knowledge of Martin Luther King's the movements that he was involved in. We gave them a cropping profiler or a cropping solution that allowed them to take the original master image and apply crop coordinates to them, and we transferred them into a web rendition. And the result was an Alfresco RGB conversion that was better than Photoshop. The end result was a Drupal front-end website accessing the documents and the metadata through CMIS. The website's available today. It's the King Center Digital Archives website. And for more information, you can follow those links or come to us at our booth.
Silence. All right, welcome to Punishment by PowerPoint. For us, that is, not for you guys. So I'm Jim Nasr, I'm from Armedia, I'm the CEO at Armedia. We are focused on federal government. You heard from Doug today that the largest part of Alfresco's business is federal government. So hopefully there's a nice match there, and and we'll make a story that makes sense to you. So really, I think about kind of federal government and Alfresco in very simple terms, simple and smart. And that is the 5 W's. What is it? Why are we interested? Who's involved? What's the time frame? Where is it applied to context? And then finally, what I call the 6 W, how. And that really kind of gets into some solutions we've built, particularly around open government and the Freedom of Information Act FOIA. So what is it? This was the story before. It's an open platform. We like that, for business critical mission applications around content. In context, really Alfresco solutions are way more than just Alfresco, right? Greg mentioned Drupal. We have Drupal there. There's Salesforce. There's SAP, right? That's mentioned there. So way more than that. And the government needs more than just Alfresco. Now, why is the government interested? There's been a real concerted movement towards open government, particularly with the current administration. Transparency, information sharing, very important, hot keywords, and really they help in driving open source, right? Open source, so share. Hopefully agencies can share because of open standards. There's not a vendor lock-in, there's a large community, but also a real, what I like to call bias for innovation. That's very important, right? If you compare it to kind of the proprietary model. So who was at the heart of this? I believe it's not necessarily gospel that Vivek Kundra, the original CIO for the White House, the Obama White House, was the driver behind this. The IT Reform Act, was really his vision, and he drove it across agencies. His legacy is quite large. You can see it here. It started in March of 2009, and left his post in June of 2011. Many things, particularly cloud and open standards, open architecture. So when all you guys notice that Alfresco has been around since 2005, about 1,500 plus customers, and a large portion of that is government. But really what is interesting is what the government is doing. So the context of the solutions, right? You can see, oh, maybe you can't see it. So here actually it talks about really where the government is going currently with the federal budgets, and that is of interest to us. 81% of the budget for next year from 400 agencies is focused on collaboration. So that's an important thing. 81% at the same level or higher. Who is using it? Many agencies, some that we've mentioned here, FDA, et cetera, FDA, OPM, NASA. And this is the picture I was talking about earlier. It's being used really for records management, collaboration, ingestion of content to mobile, web content management, Drupal and Alfresco, and Drupal and government is very big. So how? That's the interesting question. How do we do it? Government wants to do more with less. It's really important that you're budget conscious, right? But also that you build a scalable solution, something that is built on best of breed standards, integrated Drupal with an Alfresco. Here's a conceptual architecture, and the heart of it is a content repository, namely Alfresco. But there are many other technologies in the mix. So if you transpose on top of Alfresco, as you can see here in blue, yeah, you have records management, the repository, collaboration, document management covered. But there's many other components. For instance, FESOF as an open source alternative for input management, right? Pentaho for business intelligence, federated search, VirtualWorks, Drupal, web content management. And Drupal really is a product that we like a lot. And we're going to talk about it in a second about our open government FOIA solution where we use Drupal and Alfresco together. We believe that this solution is cost effective. Government, as I mentioned, likes Drupal, has adopted it largely over 200 government websites, and makes sense to tie it to Alfresco for the solution that we built. And then our solution really is a citizen-facing, citizen self-serving solution. So in a little more detail, why Drupal and Alfresco together. We like Drupal because beyond being open source, it's extensible. It's easy to use. Publishing is very easy. It's one click. If you tie that to the strength that Alfresco has, which is built for the enterprise, also scalable, having a very strong process management engine, activity is a clear differentiator, one thing that Drupal doesn't have. That makes sense. In context, our solution really relies heavily, as did Greg's, on CMIS. And that's the content management interoperability services. It's an open standards. We like using it because it means the code is portable. And the standards are not our standards, they're industry standards. In our solutions, one thing that we really like is the fact that our solution is built on a no synchronization solution. All the content lives in Alfresco and is pushed out Drupal. Come to our booth, see it, we'd be happy to show it. It's been a bit of a rush, so hopefully you got a little bit out of it, but we're here. Come and see us. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hi, folks. I'm Tony Parzgnat. I am a project manager and technical architect at Technology Services Group. We're an Alfresco partner based in Chicago. What I'm going to talk about is a lightweight document annotation tool that my company has developed that's available open source. So, quick overview of annotations. Annotations are markup that are added to documents or images that don't impact the original content themselves. They're just overlaid on top of the document. They can include comments, notes, or explanations. The screenshot here shows some examples. Some use cases for annotating documents are peer review of documents. If you need to send something to somebody to look it over, but you don't want them to modify the document. Also review workflows for controlled documents and image tagging. So OpenAnnotate is a technology services group product for annotating documents. Some of the nice features, it's completely browser-based, so there's no browser plugin or anything that you need to download and install on the client machine to get it to work. It's all based on images, completely browser-based. We do adhere to the Adobe XFDF standard for creating the annotations. So I'll give an example, but we're able to actually export annotations, and you can open them in Adobe Acrobat Reader. So the annotations are stored separately from the documents in Alfresco as well. So the annotation tools that we offer right now within the tool, comments or sticky notes. We have line tools, arrows, circles, ovals, squares, and rectangles, so pretty simple. We also have an annotation summary, so at the click of a button, you can view all the annotations that are available on the document. And all of the items in the list are hyperlinks. So if you're looking on an annotation on page 100, you just click on it, it takes you right to that page. So some other features, I mentioned the export. We have a button that you can click to export the document with the annotations as a PDF. So that would download the PDF to your machine. You can open it, and you see it in Adobe Acrobat Reader with all the annotations on the file. So we have integrated our tool with Alfresco Share. We've just added an annotation action to the Alfresco Share document library interface. And as I mentioned before, the annotations are stored in Alfresco as separate objects, so they're related to the original content, but they don't modify the original content. And the annotations are saved separately for each user so that we're able to control permissions so that one user cannot modify another user's annotations. So I'm going to show a quick video of the annotation tool. I'm navigating into the document library, finding a document, and clicking on the Annotate button. This will launch TSG's OpenAnnotate tool. You'll see the first page of the document, the toolbars across the top. It's pretty simple, basic functionality. You can page through the different pages of the document. You can enter a page number to go directly to a page. There's zooming features as well. I can zoom out on the document, zoom back in. So the annotations, this particular document already has some annotations. They're showing up in blue. Blue means that those annotations were created by a different user, so I'm able to look at them. I can hover over them to see the notes on the annotations, but I'm not able to modify those. We also have buttons to show the comments on all annotations and hide them as well. So the next thing I'm going to show is the annotation summary. You saw this on a previous slide. This is actually also searchable, so if I'm looking for a certain word in an annotation, I can search, find the annotation, click on it, takes me right to that annotation on the page. So now I'm going to go through and actually add a couple of annotations to this document. So I'm going to click on the sticky note tool. When I click on that, I can place my sticky note anywhere within the document. It gives me a little sticky note that I can enter my text. You notice that these annotations are showing up in yellow. These are the ones that I created myself, and they're editable. I can delete them if I want to because I created them. So I'm just going to show another quick annotation. You can draw arrows. There's also circles and squares and lines and things like that. Enter another quick message. So the next step is actually clicking the Save button to save these annotations back into the Alfresco repository on the back end. There's also an Update button, so if somebody's annotating the document at the same time, you can refresh to get their annotations as they're making them. There's also a printable annotation summary, so when I click on that button, this is a very simple HTML table that if you print it out, it looks nice rather than the annotation summary that had all the shading and things. Also, when I click now the Export to PDF button, it downloads a PDF to my local computer, and I'm able to see in Adobe Acrobat all the annotations that I made in TSG's lightweight tool. So if I view comments, I can see the list of all the comments in the document in Adobe Acrobat Reader. So that's the end of my short demo. For more information, you can visit our website, www.tsgrp.com. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's me, Sabine. I'm responsible for the services around Alfresco Workdesk and the new contract management solution template. Don't know, does anybody of you has the opportunity to see any of the presentations regarding Alfresco Workdesk? I think it's a really cool product. And basing on this platform, we built a concrete contract management solution template as a first sample for solution templates here. And that's the topic I want to speak about, the contract management solution template. Okay, why contract management? I think that's a typical use case at our customer sites. And contract management is a specific kind, I would say, of case management. And that's the first reason we have chosen contract management for the first solution template. Because case management is a real generic approach. And we think that some of the concepts of contract management can be reused for other solutions. And by the way, it's a very, very typical application for our Alfresco customers, because contracts are everywhere in any industry and in any company segment. Okay, let's focus now more on the topic solution template. Solution template, what's meant by this? Okay, these are two words, and the first word, solution, I think that's clear. If you speak about a solution, you await something that is out of the box. It's applicable, it's usable directly out of the box. That's the first topic. Thinking more about the template approach, then it must be configurable and extensible in a way, of course. Okay, but we thought some steps beyond this, and we yes, coming back to the case management topic, we thought that for a solution template we need yes, an approach which is really generic for other case management solutions in future. You had 15 seconds to solve this puzzle here. Solution. Let me first focusing on solution, what's in detail meant by solution. Solution, it's what the name says, it's a really ready-to-use solution, and it's delivered with Alfresco Workdesk out of the box. That's really new, I would say, to Alfresco, that there is a product in our portfolio which is ready to use. And this is an out-of-the-box sample for a specific kind of contracts, for sales and procurement contracts. And it's directly available after the install of Alfresco Workdesk. Okay. It's all around contract templates, because there is no one solution that fits all. And for that reason, we defined a configurable pattern for customer-specific contracts. And this contract template, and that's really new, is something that is configurable through the business user. Yes, you do not need an IT guy for configuring your contract templates, but it's the business user who configures contract templates. And if the business user says after installation, oh, that's nice, I want to have it, he can leave it. Or if he needs other data fields or another folder structure or whatever, the business user is able to define his own contract templates. Okay, but it's only half the truth. The business user can only configure things that are already prepared by IT people, and that's the reason that's a solution template. Template means in that way that, of course, it's ready to use, but every company has a specific needs. And the solution can be enhanced with own processes, own contract types, own contract data fields to fit the company needs. Any company has certain business roles. Same here. You can add your own business roles to the contract template, and you can assign functionality to the certain roles. And in addition, because we are not alone in the world, there are well-defined integration points to third-party systems, like Salesforce or whatever. We did not do the implementation, but the integration points are already there. Okay, my last topic now is the generic approach, which is really reusable. And there are two aspects. One aspect, a contract is not only a single document. As I told in the beginning of my presentation, a contract is much more. A contract is a case. And these ideas of handling cases is really reusable for any other solution, like claims management or a new hire or whatever. Because a case is nothing else than a bracket around documents, data, reports, workflows, linked objects, a folder structure, or whatever. And this is really an idea we plan to reuse for other solutions in future. And the next topic, which is also reusable in this way, is that we plan to have as much as possible configurable through the business user. The business user is in focus, and he does not need IT for any configuration he does. Okay, that's it. If you want to have more information about the contract management solution template or Workdesk in common, I'm here until Friday. Feel free to ask me or to contact one of my colleagues. Thank you.
Oops, sorry.
Again, Greg Heller from MicroStrategies. I'm, again, consulting manager and senior application architect. Today, I want to talk a little bit about picture asset management as a solution. So just giving you an idea of some things we've done for some of our clients based around managing of their pictures as assets. So you might ask, what is a picture asset management solution? Well, it's basically preserving and categorizing your assets or images so that you can search for them, find them, and make them available for online or print media. It also gives you the ability to manage development and editing of your assets or your images and process them through a business approval process. Also gives you the ability to secure control of the assets across your organization at a granular level. You can manage your intake and delivery process, manage your metadata, your life cycle, your typical review, editing, approval, searching, and archiving. So how does this differ from digital asset management? Well, digital asset management is really defined as your media files, your video files, and of course, pictures or images. So the solution itself is really geared towards picture asset management. The metadata is focused on picture asset management. It's built around categorization of images and collections. Other than that, it's very similar to digital asset management. So why does Alfresco make a solid platform for a picture asset management and a good jump start? For number one, out of the box for version 4.2, it gives you some pretty nice document library views. In this example, you have the film strip view, so you could view thumbnails of your images or a larger picture of the image. You have the media table view, which gives you some nice features. You could make this extend this view. You could add custom data to this view. Out of the box, it gives you, your height, your size, the name of your pictures, tags if you wanted to add anything. It also gives you a nice metadata extraction feature just for images. So every time you upload an image to Alfresco, natively out of the box, it pulls all of this information off the image file for you. So you get things such as your ISO speed, your resolution. So looking at a picture asset management solution, we look at things as a solution. So what business problem are we trying to solve? How do we build a strategy for managing your assets? Let's define a metadata model, let's build a solution, and of course, let's deliver. So a basic flow of a picture asset management solution, your images might arrive from certain channels. They might get uploaded to a drop zone. You might move them to a review folder. They might go for retouch. They might go into a holding queue. They might be archived, and of course, they'll be published. So when I think of managing data coming in from many sources, I think of a trail map at a ski lodge. You have all these channels of images coming into your system. How do you get them into the right spot? Well, if you don't do it appropriately at the first time when they come into your system, rescue may not be possible. So, and ultimately, this may result in frustration on your users and extra costs that you don't want to incur. So the first thing you need to do is categorize your documents as they come in documents, images, and classify and add metadata. So we do this through our profiler application as a solution. The documents come in immediately on ingest. We add metadata. We classify the documents. We get them into some sort of workflow. We also define roles and responsibilities. You might have a reviewer team, a retouch team. These are people responsible for editing in Photoshop. You might define who's your upload team, who's responsible for uploading these images into Alfresco. You're going to define your security policy in groups and roles. In this example, we're adding an initial reviewer policy. This is an extension of Alfresco that we have. It's an add-on that gives you a more granular level of security, whether it be at the asset level or the folder level. So collaboration is everything. So these documents or images are in your system. Users across your organization, they need to access them. They need to do certain things with them. They need to publish them to sites possibly. So you need to collaborate. You're going to get the basic check-in, check-out. Users can edit the images, check them out. Other users won't be able to make changes to them and they'll check back in. You'll get workflow. You might get requests for images, which might come through the Alfresco Cloud Sync. You have the ability to review the photo metadata. You'll be able to maintain multiple versions of the images, whether it's a new version, a retouched version, a hold, or approved. And you'll also go through a workflow process, the reprove, reject. Picture asset management, you'll be able to define types. You might have associations to other images in the system. You might have a web rendition or a mobile rendition that you'll create. You might have a life cycle wrapped around the pictures or the assets. You'll need archiving. You might want to have a policy for retention. You might want to archive the documents out to cloud storage, maybe Glazr at a certain period of time. You'll be able to distribute your assets through websites, other mobile applications. So what makes this solution possible? Well, Alfresco is at the core of the solution. We utilize CMIS. We have our MSI Picture Asset Management solution, the MSI Profiler, our Security Policy Manager, and, of course, Workflow. So more information on this solution, you can follow the links, or, of course, come see us at our booth. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. So I'm Rajesh Avatani. I lead the Alfresco practice at CIGNEX Datamatics. I'll talk about the Alfresco-based publishing solution, publishing management solution that can, and by integrating with MongoDB and Drupal. So let's take the typical use case where 150 plus magazines need to be created, and the content is globally distributed, and magazines belongs to different organizations, different customers. Authors needs to collaborate with each other to create these magazines, and then which involves the complex work business processes, and the content created has to be delivered. The content created has to be delivered to the various publishing channels. So the solution that I propose here is the integrating Alfresco with MongoDB and Drupal. Let's see why Alfresco, MongoDB, and Drupal fits for this thing. Because of strong editorial process, because of complex workflows can be created using activity, because of multi-tenancy, authors belonging to the different organization think that they are working on a single instance, which is not. Content transformations through they can publish to the various channels. The authors needs to collaborate with each other, which shares provide that. Alfresco share provide that, and then the content should be secure, flexible in terms of Alfresco supports both the internal and external security model, and then it extends the platform for tablet and mobile. So this Alfresco fits fit for this solution. And then why MongoDB? Because MongoDB is a document-oriented storage, no SQL, and it supports sharding. And sharding resolves the sharding solves the problem of scalability, horizontal scalability, and it reduces the operations and reduces the data distributed across the different machines. So it and it increases the performance, and full index supports makes the search faster. So MongoDB. Basically, we publish all the raw data into the MongoDB. All the published data will be published in the MongoDB. And then why Drupal? Because of its lightweight, responsive theme, it's easy to configure, and various others WCM features that Drupal has. So let's look at the architecture. the authors create the content into the Alfresco. Then they, once it goes through the workflow, the content is being published, and once the content is published, a rule is triggered off. It sends the request to the Alfresco MongoDB connector. Once the, based on the request, the connector creates the content into MongoDB, and then the Drupal pulls out the content from the MongoDB and displays on the website. So there are cron jobs which continuously runs on that. Cron jobs which continuously runs on that, and we then content. I mean, the published content is also created into the Drupal. With a blank content is created with just the Drupal node ID, which is associated with the Alfresco node reference, so that the publishing content can be, all the inbuilt Drupal features, features could be applied on the published content. So this is the search design. So to avoid the faceted search, so searching the non-Alfresco content into Drupal and then the Alfresco content into the MongoDB, to avoid that, we have configured Solar with the Drupal, and so the Drupal non-Alfresco content get indexed into the Solar, and as well as the content on the MongoDB, the Alfresco content gets indexed into the Solar. So we do a search at one place rather than searching at two places. So if you see this design, it's decoupled. It's not tightly coupled, Alfresco, MongoDB, Drupal. And because of this, the various publishing channels can, pull out the content from MongoDB independently and display it on there, such as laptops, smartphones, tablet. We can publish into the various different channels. So this is about it. If you'd like to know more about the solution, please visit at our booth on the 4th floor. Thank you.
Good. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Here's okay? I can't see.
All right, my name is Michael Peckham, and this is Mike Priest, and we're from Abstractive Technology Consulting in beautiful, if kind of cold this time of year, Edmonton, Alberta. And we're here to talk about a product that we've been working on for a while called Glazr, which allows you to embed additional functionality on web applications. And what we're going to be talking about here today is a tour guide that bolts on to Alfresco and helps with end user training.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but me personally, I always get a bit nervous when I'm doing these presentations. So butterflies seem to calm me down. So Richard, do you mind coming here? Just gonna help me out. I needed some visual aids.
They encouraged us to use props.
You want to can you just give me your arm? Cheers. There we go. Thanks.
This doesn't cut into our time, does it?
Okay, I feel a bit better now. So
all right,
everyone, just give us a round of applause here. Congrats. Yeah. So you've just launched a brand new system and everything's going well, but you can stop clapping because now it's time to get people to use it. And as we know, Kevin Dorad mentioned in one of his talks there, is that it's not the typically the system that gives you the issues. It's people adopting the system. So as you can see right now, what you have is these big manuals to use.
So what we've done is we've actually pulled some quotes from some of our actual clients, and some of them are large organizations and small ones, but they all express some of the same problems with getting user adoption and getting people up to speed on a program. And in this case, we're talking about a very large organization that has tens of thousands of students, and what they've said to us is, if we're going to deploy Alfresco right across the entire campus, we have students coming on board and leaving every month, and we have staff turnover, and we have budget cuts. So we have to have some way of getting them up to speed on what is fairly complex technology without going through the process of hiring a trainer and training tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, and typically what people end up doing is they'll end up getting some business users that trained up on Alfresco and then get those guys to train somebody else. The problem with that is those guys have other jobs to do, so you're cutting into their time. It's not a very, very good use of that time.
So the other problem that you see a lot is that help desks get swamped after the launch of a big enterprise project, not with technical issues, but with how-tos. How do I do something? What's something that should have been involved in the training or the onboarding?
So this is actually a really interesting one. So you have Alfresco has Alfresco training, SAP has SAP. You know, you have PeopleSoft having their own, but one thing that these don't have is when you have integrated processes like across these applications, there's no software or specific software training like Alfresco that can provide that. So that's kind of what we've gone into, is having cross-domain tours that'll walk you through the entire process.
Okay, so what is Glazr? Glazr is actually a platform that allows you to overlay functionality, glaze, on any existing web application. And it can be an out-of-the-box application, it can be custom built. As Mike said, it can span multiple applications. So a single business process, we can step you across multiple web applications in a way that allows you to guide users. So the platform can do all sorts of things, notifications and comment system and dashboarding. But what we're going to focus on today is our flagship application, which is the tour guide. So the tour guide has all these features, and we also have an out-of-the-box tour guide specifically for Alfresco.
Yeah, and the things that we've targeted specifically for the tour guide is reducing your training and help desk costs, as well as increasing your user adoption. And the way we do that is there's a pamphlet just on the back there if you want to pick one up, but you're going to allow users to be trained in bulk. It's on-site training. It's all year round. So if you have that high turnover, it's always there. It's always available. The features, you can go onto the website because there's quite a few. But essentially, you can create your own tours for, within Alfresco. So where you have custom workflows or you have some customizations, you can create your own to get used to adopt those customizations as well.
Okay, so there's just another comment from a client. They usually have a business analyst or somebody in the business area who has the manual for the software printed out, and it sits on a shelf and it gathers dust. And their comment to us is, why use a phone book? If we're not using a phone book for looking up phone numbers, why use a manual for training? So we have...
So we've got a couple of videos. This is just to show you exactly user going in, searching for inviting a user. And this is just one of the searches. And then it's essentially user-assisted training. So you click next as you're going through. The resolution's kind of terrible here, but you get the basic concept. And all of this stuff's configurable. You can restyle it. You can change the position of the tooltips and stuff like that. We don't go through the whole thing because we've got a couple of videos. I'm going to switch to the next one. So this is when you're logged in, and you can see you can add steps, and this is showing you just customizing the tooltips. You got a WYSIWYG in there, allows you to change all the styles, stuff like that. But then this is showing you cross-domain.
Sorry, I
hit the button. Yeah. Okay, you want to just play that again?
Yeah, it's not letting me go back. Was this it?
No, it's the next video. Okay, so again, it's going to show you customizing it. Some of the tips that you have in here on the top right actually allows you to create associated tours. So if you want to go deeper into something else, you can split them off into another one. But this is just showing you the integration across application. There are. Is that our timeout?
That's your time. I'll give you 10 seconds to finish.
All right, sweet. Switch to the next video, quick. So this is the second search, where basically a user. It's kind of like if anyone uses Firebug. You can select an item on the page, like click on the button for the sites, and it will show you the tours for joining, leaving sites, and anything associated with that type of element on the page. So if you want to pick up a pamphlet, they're on the back. And it's got the website and stuff on there. There's more videos that go a bit more in depth that you don't have 5 minutes for. Can you give me a...